had our sky eye over this scene that's continuously developed for about the past 30 to 40 minutes or so, and our Chaz Miller just got there. We've got him live on the ground joining us now. Chaz, it certainly seems like a chaotic scene, but what can you tell us from your vantage point?
Brianna, we just got out here. I'm going to step out of the way and show you what this bus looks like on its side from the ground. We, of course, have been showing you from Sky Eye, but we have found out that 58 students were on that bus. That's according to Cleveland ISD, who said that all of those students, nearly 60 of them, have been transported out of an abundance of caution. So again, 58 students on that bus. These are younger kids. All 58 of them were taken to a area hospital to be treated according to Cleveland ISD. Now they say that those kids will be getting medical evaluations and that parents and guardians of all of them have been directly notified. At this point, they say they are, and I say they being Cleveland ISD, are going to conduct a full investigation, they say, as to what happened. You mentioned there was another bus accident involving Cleveland ISD earlier this week on Monday, only about a mile from where we're at right now. Now, on this road, FM 1010, driving up here, it is very, very windy, very, very narrow, just 2 lanes. Again, we don't know the circumstances that caused this accident today, but it was tricky kind of slinking our way in here to find this scene today, so certainly not the easiest of roads to drive on. The district does say their #1 priority is their safety and well-being of their students, but again, this is 2 bus crashes involving Cleveland ISD within just a couple of days of each other. The one on Monday, that involved high school students. This one involves elementary students or younger kids. We don't have an exact age right now, but we have seen younger kids being treated via Sky Eye video. You see just how badly that bus flipped over onto its side, still there. They do have another bus on scene, likely to transport anybody or maybe to get, I don't know exactly what it's for, but again, they said all the students have been transported that were on that bus. We don't know about the bus driver yet. That's something we're trying to find out here. And at this point, again, we're just trying to get more information. Now, driving up here, you heard Doug say a minute ago, there is closures around here on 1010. We did see some what appeared to be families standing way back from where we're at right now. A couple of kids being consoled. I don't know if these were kids who were on the bus, probably not. If they all had to be transported, maybe a sibling, maybe a friend, we don't know at this point. Still a whole lot we don't know, other than the fact that what you're seeing on your screen is the reality of what we're dealing with. A school bus involving Cleveland ISD, younger kids based on the photos and video we've seen. That bus completely on its side here on 1010, just about a mile south of where that accident happened earlier this week, also involving Cleveland ISD, that being high school students. So we're going to stay out here. We're going to try to talk to some families. They've got us pushed back right now as they work on clearing the scene and getting everybody out of here. We don't know if anybody else still needs to be transported. Once we get the answers to those questions, we will certainly bring them your way, but a scary situation here in the Cleveland area. Once we get the information, we will bring it to you. Rita and Brianna?
Hey Chaz, before you go, one thing Cleveland ISD did not put in their statement is which specific school, which elementary school is impacted by this. Have you been able to confirm where those kids were heading?
We don't know at this point, Brianna. As I said, we haven't been able to get close. There's a sheriff's deputy who's got us pushed pretty far back. We're hoping to talk to some people at the scene. Maybe as this clears out, we can get a little bit closer. But at this point, we just know it's younger kids based on the videos and images we've seen from Cleveland ISD. The exact school, however, still unknown.
Well, I'm sure you're going to learn a lot out there. I mean, you mentioned it. There are parents who are showing up as well, keeping their distance out of respect for the investigation, right? But definitely concerned about their kids. You know, the other thing, Chaz, is you mentioned that there was an accident on Monday also involving one of these school buses, but those were high schoolers. Kids are kids. However, these elementary kids, I mean, you know, this is new. This is the first day, first week back to school. You know, I would imagine they're very scared, right? For some, this routine might be new.
You would imagine so. You would think anybody would be scared. And I'll step out again just to show you the images that we see on the ground. The fact that that bus is completely on its side is pretty scary. It's been a minute since I've been on a school bus, but you remember riding buses when you were a kid and you see that hatch, that emergency hatch on top, and you never think you're going to have to use it. It looks like it's been deployed here. How else would those kids have been able to get out of that bus? So yeah, you would imagine anybody, not just little kids, but anybody up to adults would be afraid of this situation. We don't know how fast the bus was going. We can't really see based on the ground if there's a curve leading up to where that is, so we don't know exactly how the bus was going when that happened, if it happened quickly, we don't know. So there's still a lot of unknown here, other than the fact that yes, you have to assume that being in that situation as a little kid, first week of school, would have to be pretty terrifying.
No, the other thing too, Chaz, is while we wait certainly for the investigation to wrap up here and learn more about what caused this, talk to us about your drive up to the scene, because you know at first glance it looks like the street in this stretch of highway is very narrow. Obviously, it's a two-way. It could be very dangerous.
I was riding up here with my coworker. He kind of said, you know, I can see why people would have a hard time driving on this road. Again, you have this accident behind me. You also had that bus involving high school kids earlier this week that got in an accident about a mile from here. It is very, very narrow. There's not really much of a shoulder. And yes, it is certainly not a straight shot. Lots of turns, lots of rural areas, narrow spaces. So I would imagine driving through here in something as large as a school bus, just on its surface, is probably not an easy task.
Well, Chaz, you mentioned there were some parents and some people in the area. We're going to give you a chance to speak with them and see what other information you can gather this morning, but we really appreciate your perspective there on the south side of Cleveland. Chaz, thank you.
And before I let you go,
Okay.
I do think the important thing to notice is, according to the district, all these kids, 58 of them, they were all transported, but they say it is out of an abundance of caution. At this point, there is no indication that there are any serious injuries here. We still don't know about the driver. Cleveland ISD says they're investigating this. We're just going to try to keep getting more details.